Chapter 10, entitled Conflict of Interest. The Municipal Council was in session and had passed the estimates for welfare and roads. The discussion had turned on taxation and revenues. Garth Keating had the floor. Well, Mr. Chairman, I mean to say, the most people we have, the more taxes we get. If the people we have are taxpayers, interrupted Hans Eckerlens, we don't need more people on welfare. Of course. I mean to say, these people from the city, they pay taxes, so we have more taxes. But, said Mayor Timothy Scace, Albert's brother, that's all very well if the people have land with houses that are serviced. If we have to service the land, then their taxes will not be enough. Agreed, Mr. Mayor. Garbett Conlon was speaking. We need proper farmers or proper townspeople, and none of these riffraff from the city. Mr. Chairman, I mean to say, said Garth, I think you should refrain from such discussion. But why? It is not a formal notion. I can talk like anyone else. I mean to say, I think you should declare a conflict of interest. And why, pray all, should I do that? Because I mean to say, of your brother Albert. But Albert has nothing to do with whatever we give those people the license to go of building up farmland, for goodness sake. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, I mean to say, but your brother has something to do with it, I mean to say. Please explain yourself. How could my brother, who runs his own life and works for county conservation, affect my vote on a matter like this? Your brother, Mr. Chairman, I mean to say, is known to be violently opposed, I mean to say, to the development of your beautiful land. Come off it, Garth, said Conlon. But Bert Scace and the authority have done more to keep these parts beautiful than anyone around here, except Miss Lynch and her peonies in Norham. I mean to say, I have information that your brother and the Conservation Authority, Conversation Authority, the Consecration Authority, Conversation Authority, that is the authority, is opposed to the O Development Corporation. That's no big news. Half the people around here are. The ones with any sense are opposed to that fat jerk and his bulldozers. Come on, Conlon, said the mayor. Let us see if Garth has something new to tell us. Definite information this morning, I mean to say. I had a telephone call all the way from Toronto. A guy slapped the desk as if he'd just had a message from Mars. Who from? Never mind who from. I mean to say, it should be someone from. Never mind. I got a message that the government is watching what your brother is doing against private development in the public service. I mean to say, and Northumberland County. My brother's never done a thing against the public interest in his life. If he spent more time on the public interest, and on less on the public interest, he might be better off. Scace was getting angry, which he seldom did. But an older version of Albert, but with graying hair rather than red, and well-tailored grey suits, he lived up to his business motto, you have a place with Timothy Scace, your friendly insurance and honeyman. Then from the corner, Truman McCoyd, a little old man with bright eyes, piped, What about them damn swans? Public nuisance, attacking Georgie Roberts at Rowbottom. Better get the means. Bert got the mean swans for that pond. Nothing wrong with Nitter swans if you think them alone, Hans put in. Anyway, it is a public service to attack George Rowbottom, fool kid with a fool mother. This then swans is good. Beautiful pond is beautiful, said a man on Forth Lake, and he looks after them in winter. Come back from the back. And I knew a man on the South Lake, he's Banter V. Venus in Italy. He got one of them damn these gondolas. They'd be good in the pond there. Point of order, started the chairman, but the intrusion had taken up to the front row. Good morning, enough, but who would feed the darn thing? The goddamn gondolas. Oh, brief silence. Now, gentlemen, please, said the chairman. Go on, Garth. Is there anything of substance you accuse my brother of? Well, I mean to say, he threatened the manager of the Triple O and called him names. He might well have, but that's a civil matter. It has nothing to do with my impartiality of judgment on whether Bondworthy can carve up the countryside. Come to think of it, Mr. Gatting, Hans English interposed when he got calmed down, you should declare a conflict of interest yourself. Conflict of interest? How? I mean to say, what? Bondworthy has an option on 100 acres of your land back toward the settlement. Yes, I mean to say, but that is confidential. You should say, not know, you mean you should not know, you do not know that. Bondworthy told me himself. Boasted of it. And, said the chairman, that is a real conflict of interest, and would rule you out of the voting. If you had not revealed it, or if it had not been revealed for you, there could have been some nasty question raised. You should be a little more careful how you throw around accusations in future. They're boomerang. Timothy Scace was crisp. Well, I mean to say, this meeting is now adjourned until after lunch. What is it, Miss Ochterlony? There's a gentleman in to see Mr. Kading. He's Mr. Bondworthy of the Triple O Development. He's been waiting for you, sir. Kading got up with some humps and mean to says and left with the municipal secretary. Ha, 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 said Hans Orkelins, a grin cutting his face, too, till it nearly touched his chin. How that for a coinkydink. Outside the council chamber, Kading met Bondworthy and shook hands. Hard time defending you in there, I mean to say. Mr. Mayor is Scace's brother, you know. Very prejudiced, I mean to say. Mr. Kading, I have something more serious to discuss with you. And then Scace, it is somewhere we can talk in private. I'll drive you back to the house and give you a cup of soup. Oh, thanks. You see, it's this Bondworthy climbed into Kading's car. It's legal problems. Well, don't so, or I mean to say, that act of the provincial parliament limiting the sale of farmland to 25 acres, I mean to say, don't apply to us. Yes, I know, but because we got the land surveyed into first, but this new land is trying to buy is near enough to the village to be subdivided. No, the problem is much worse. Let's hope for our folks in Toronto can get the judges for us. You mean to say, Mr. Hugison? Yes, not Telus has a lot of punch, even in the courts. But what's the problem, I mean to say? Title deeds, Mr. Keating, title deeds. What about the title deeds? There is some doubt whether they are in order. Anyway, that's what this commie outfit is claiming to be. Communists? I mean to say, which ones? City gang of long hairs calling themselves Spectacular Probe. Spectacular Probe. Have a bunch in Peterborough. Nasty-minded bastards. Oh, I mean to say, what could be wrong with the title deeds? No clear title. But they must have been searched by lawyers in the registry office. Something wrong with the trailer transfer from farm workers to lot owners. That's what they claim. And now they had reached Keating's house on the suburban side of Warkworth. He had inherited a fine old Victorian mansion, and just a few years before had pulled it down and replaced it with Willowdale windswept split, a rectangular structure with large single-glazed windows, looking straight into Conlon's large single-glass picture windows. 2 stone swans, a plastic flamingo, and a little black jockey stood guard on the lawn. Well, Bondworthy, said Keating, as he showed him the door, I mean to say, don't worry. The courts are still on the side of private property. I mean to say, when it comes to who really runs the province, let's have a drink before lunch. Bondworthy, his usual cheeky business brassiness drilled, shook his head, not refusing the drink, but in silent disagreement, as he followed the councillor in. This is the end of Chapter 10 of Drumlin Fever, Conflict of Interest.